School's out. Sorry, remote learning is out for summer. Hey, everybody, failed entrepreneur. Make crappy videos every day, so make sure you subscribe so you can argue with me. And I know I look like it, but hey, it's been a rough year, man. I survived. I made it. Today is the last day of school for me. I am an educator. Over 10 years, that's depressing, in the classroom. And I want to make this video last week. Didn't get around to it, but I figured because it's the last day of school, it's a little bit more fitting today. Kind of on remote learning, how that's been going from a school, teacher, student, parent perspective. I have a little bit of insight on all of those, being a single dad and a teacher, and where we go from here. So the reason I want to make this video is last week, Dr. Fauci, who has, I guess, disappeared from media briefings the last couple of days. Watch, he shows up today. But yeah, he did a virtual Senate hearing about a week ago on Corona and where we go from here, and just kind of like a little status update. But he was asked by some senators his thoughts on schools next year and schools reopening and how do schools proceed. And I thought once this got underway, we'd be one and done. Next year would start and we would be back at school, and this is just, it's too difficult to keep this going. I might have to eat my hat, because these experts in Fauci were saying, and Fauci, his word is gospel, right, that next year we may have to start school in a remote learning situation again. Are you serious? This has not been easy. On the surface, it seems like it should be, right? You don't got to deal with, as a teacher, from teacher perspective, it should be. You don't got to deal with obnoxious students. Hey, that's on the parents now. You can see what it's like to motivate someone who doesn't want to be motivated. Sometimes it's like motivating a rock to do its homework, right? It just sits there and does nothing. The face-to-face instruction and all like the difficult interactions with teaching is kind of gone, and now it's just focusing on giving the kids engaging content and make sure they're still getting the information they need and doing lessons. But as a teacher now, my school, we did, like I think a lot of others, we went to online learning programs that already had all the curriculum and all the lessons there, because as teachers, we had very little warning that we were going this way. We had about a week. Some schools had a weekend. And to just take your whole lesson and curriculum and then expect someone in one weekend to change it because here come your customers, it's just, weren't ready for this. And a lot of teachers struggle with technology anyways, and now it's all students, parents too, but it was asking a lot. But teachers are used to this. In our field, we always get asked to go above and beyond and do more with less. And so it was just another day at the office. And I think maybe that's one reason why this remote learning maybe did go as well as it did. It's just because teachers, we were just so trained. We were like we've been lion tamed, or we're good hoop jumpers. You tell us something to do, and we just figure out a way to do it. But in reality, what happens is you're less of a teacher, and you're more like the cheerleader. You're just more of a motivator. And that's kind of what my job ended up being throughout the last couple months, is trying to reach out and contact kids to get them engaged and get them logged in and keep going, and you can do it, right? That's pretty much all, because on a student point of view, again, this seems easy. This is like every kid's dream come true. Or how many times were you in school and like, man, I just wish they would cancel school so we could just stay at home. Wouldn't that be great? And it happened. It actually happened. I know my kids talk about that all the time, or like, man, I wish the school would burn down so we don't got to go to school anymore. Well, next closest thing, right? So, these students' wildest dreams, this block, actually came true. And they find out also it's rough. It's hard to wake up every day on your own, get logged into the computer, do these like boring assignments. Yeah, kids complain that schoolwork is boring. Online remote learning is even more boring most of the time. I'm sure there's some teachers that hit this out of the park, but it's just like there's no interaction, there's no other peers to talk to, like there's no school setting where you can be focused on learning. Kids are competing against Fortnite and Call of Duty and the PlayStation, and that home life already has creeped into the classroom with cell phones. This is enemy number one in the classroom. This is what we deal with all the time. And you have to understand, at home, this is just amplified now with, the refrigerator and the pets and the dogs and the pool and your parents and your siblings. There's just too many distractions. And I feel bad. Like, this is the main thing, is it's just like, it's so hard on these kids, right? My school is lower socioeconomic. A lot of these kids don't have internet in the first place, so getting them online was a challenge, and some kids just weren't able to because they can't afford it right now. Giving them a computer to work on is another challenge. We basically gave out all of our technology. We hope it comes back. This would be a good time to be a Chromebook salesman. I will tell you that right now. There are going to be a lot of schools ordering Chromebooks because they're going to be a little deficient. But just getting the materials needed. Not every kid has that. And then just so many times I heard from students, I can't log in today. I can't go on the video call. My parents are yelling. My house is too noisy. I got 6 little kids at home. I got 10 dogs at my house. To find a quiet place is just impossible for these kids. And some tried, but it's just, you have to understand, it's just so difficult. It's not a learning environment. A lot of these homes are anything but. And to expect kids to log in every day and do all their work and keep up and not fall behind when they're just seriously surrounded by distractions and stress and noise and clutter and other people, it's just so difficult. Again, a big thing of schools that I've learned is just having that classroom, that safe, quiet, sometimes quiet environment, right? My daughter, she's 7 years old. What does a second grader do for remote learning? Her school gave her stuff every day. She had math, she had reading, she had science, virtual field trips. They did a very good job. And it's second grade stuff. Like, it's not difficult. But for her, and she's, I think, a decent student. She's pretty good. She's bright. She just struggled with, the motivations at first. There was a lot of fights going on. You got to get this done. Why do I have... And, it's rough. Her world got changed as well. But even, having, an elementary kid to sit in front of a computer for a couple hours a day and bang out work. The one good thing of this is she can type pretty well now, and she knows how to use, web browser. Well, maybe that could be bad, but she can use a computer pretty well now. So that's a positive, right? But it's just, and this place is pretty quiet. It's just the two of us, no pets, no other siblings. I make sure the TV's turned off and she can focus. But even that, she struggled a lot, and so I can't imagine what these kids with not the greatest home lives are doing. It's just too much to ask. And as a parent, it's tough because here I am, I got to do my job. I'm sure other parents do too. And a big thing is schools kind of provide free state-funded babysitting for kids. So mom and dad can go to work, right? Now, maybe mom and dad ain't working now because Corona, so it was a happy accident. But as we kind of get back to work, if you keep the schools closed again, I don't know what parents are going to do. And daycare is just so outrageous and expensive. If the kids are way too young to even go into school, it's just, for parents, it's just so much added stress to them. And, it's difficult at the end of my day when I'm tired and I'm finished to sit down and then go read about platypuses with a kid who doesn't want to, it's just, and I'm a teacher, this is my job. It's just tough to do. It's hard. As a school, we want to make sure the kids are still getting the same quality education, but where's the balance between giving them too little work, where they put it off and procrastinate, right? Or too much, where they get overwhelmed and then they just give up, right? So it's it was not very clean. It was very messy. Lessons have been learned, and I think a lot of people, a lot of schools, a lot of parents, a lot of teachers are realizing, especially with remote learning, to really lower expectations and really lower the workload, because it seems to be finding that right mix tends to be on the less side. But the kids aren't getting as much education that way. It's definitely not the same quality education. Again, just reading something, and an art. Some people learn that way. Everyone's different learner, and some kids did excel at this. They were in their element, and they knocked this out of the park. But for a lot of kids, they need some of that social interaction. They need a place to, make mistakes and get that feedback, or they need to, so much of school lately has been pushing towards group work, right? Which I'm not the biggest fan of, whatever, but so much of education lately has just been focused to peer-to-peer interaction and just group work and group projects. And now you take that kind of away, and kids just, I think they don't even know how to function kind of on their own, because they're just so used to everything being like group work now. And then there's issues with, sometimes cheating and going online and writing a paper is these days, I guess, just seems to be how good can you search and copy and paste things. And then students don't realize why that's okay. I'm just getting into teacher stuff. Sorry. But it's been hard. And a lot of people, we've learned a lot, and we've learned it's not a good way to teach. And if we keep this going into next year, I don't know what that's going to look like. To start a year off that way is going to be very, very hard. It's, like I said, I don't think a lot of learning went on in the United States these last couple months. A lot of kids got their graduations screwed up. They're going to be graduating late now. Maybe they got credit in a class, but really didn't learn the material, and so they're going to be behind that way as well. It's just a mess, and you got to open those schools back up, because I just don't see how we can make this the new normal and expect education to do its job. It's not education. It's just busy work. It's busy work is what remote learning is, disguised as education, and it's just not great to simplify it. I need my coffee right now. That's great content. There's advantages too. Don't get me wrong. Don't gotta deal with the asshole student. That's been a plus. But it's just, professionally and education first. Remote learning is not the way to do it. So, not a fan. Hopefully things go back to normal again, for the kids' sake, for the parents' sake, and for school's sake. But Dr. Fauci doesn't seem to think that's going to be the case, so we will see. It'll be an interesting couple months as we get ready for the next year, and schools figure out what the hell we got to do. Because what's to say we don't start the year, and then another second or third or fourth outbreak happens, and then we got to shut down and remote learn for like the next 3 weeks. Like, it's just interesting times. Okay, I'm rambling, as I do. So thanks for watching. I got things to do today. I know you do too. And I'll catch you later.